And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 483. Today is Monday, October 7th. I am King, here to bridge the community in crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10ish, of course. Today's top stories, we'll be talking about class action accusing Tether and Bitfinex of market manipulation. Now traders can make bets on when Facebook Libra will launch. New York State financial regulator hiring crypto and blockchain specialists, and NBA Sacramento Kings are back in the news as they look to reward loyal fans with crypto tokens. That is right. A lot of good crypto news out there today. It looks like for some reason this this box is not working on the camera. It's been disabled, so I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube, but I can see everybody come in on the actual chat on YouTube. What's going on? Shannon Allen, Tessa Hall, hello. Yes, the McAfee exchange. You know what? That was the other one I forgot to add on there. I also add on there as well toward the end. Let me take off this chat cam until we figure out what is wrong with it. But of course, first let's go over these prices. Not a lot of price movement. We're still in that chop area. Bitcoin is up almost 3% to $8,242 after it slid down this weekend. Ethereum's at $180, up 4.34%. Litecoin at $58, up 4.93%. Ripple is at 0.27, 27 cents, up 8.2%. Bitcoin Cash, $236, up 6.37%. So again, not the price points we're looking for, but the percentage yields are they're still not back to normal, but it's getting closer to normal when you're seeing up and down every day, anywhere from 3 to 10% to 15 to 20%, depending on the coin. And I mean, just looking at some of the top 5 coins, you're definitely seeing that. Ripple up 8%. Bitcoin up 3, Litecoin up almost 5. And again, tomorrow those go down. Those same percentage points, it won't be a big surprise here. But if you're new, we want to make sure you get accustomed to seeing these percentage swings that you would not see on a traditional exchange, of course. Yes, that's right. I will be covering that. All right. Class action accuses Tether and Bitfinex of market manipulation. That is right. Tether and Bitfinex are back in the news after a New York-based legal firm has filed a lawsuit against them both, accusing them of cryptocurrency market manipulation. Roche Freeman filed a class action suit claiming that the stablecoin firm Tether and its affiliate crypto exchange Bitfinex have been involved in defrauding investors, manipulating markets, and concealing illicit proceeds, the firm's founding partner Kyle Roche tweeted on October 7th. In the tweet, Roche accused Tether and Bitfinex of creating, quote, the largest bubble in history by using a sophisticated scheme involving part fraud, part pump and dump, and part money laundering. The suit alleges that backing asset claims were false. They're saying that Tether's claim of backing the number of its Tether tokens by equal amounts of USD, United States dollars, was a lie. Instead, the firm says that Tether issued extraordinary amounts of unbacked USDT to manipulate cryptocurrency prices. The document reads, quote, because the market believed the lie that 1 USDT equaled $1 US, Bitfinex and Tether had the power to and did manipulate the market on an unprecedented scale to profit from boom and bust cycles they created. Now, my initial issue with this article is it's one of those things where someone lost out and someone's trying to mitigate their risk. Something I keep talking about in crypto all the time, which is why people always run to the government, to regulators, and to the laws while in cryptocurrency, because as of now, we really have no laws or regulations that governs the community. We're trying to work on self-regulated ones. And of course, places like the SEC and IRS are trying to create laws out of thin air every day. But bottom line is this is a unregulated global market that people oftentimes go to lawsuits. Like I said, they go to the legal book, they go to legal doctrine, they go to regulators and all that to either mitigate risk or to try to make up for some type of loss they already took. And I say that because when we talk about USDT, when we talk about Tether, and there are people out there who will go to the grave saying that Tether is backed 1-to-1 by US dollars. I am a part of that St. Louis crowd where they say, you got to show me, the show me state, right? I didn't believe it. It's the same thing with BitConnect to me. The whole BitConnect thing that tricked so many people. I didn't believe that from the beginning either. And I'm not saying it like I'm just that much smarter than you. It's to me, when you look at things like Tether, whether this is true or false, because Tether and Bitfinex comes out, they say they even expected the lawsuit. They've expected this lawsuit for a while because people have already come at them for these type of things. But people are believing lies to fit their own narrative of investing, which is terrible. Again, we saw that in BitConnect. BitConnect guaranteed you, I don't know the numbers, but it was some crazy return on a daily basis. They were saying something like, we guarantee you, and this is for example, but they said something like, we guarantee you a 3 to 5% return every day or every week, which if you compound that, literally will make no sense when it comes to how much money each person who invested would have made if that were true, right? So it's the same thing with Tether. It is a private, centralized digital currency, basically, stablecoin, one-for-one cryptocurrency to the US dollar, who never showed an audit of all their money. In fact, when they had to do the audit, they actually fired the company who was doing it and said, we're just going to do it ourselves, wherever, and we're not going to release it. They never even audit themselves. There's no transparency. So to me, if you don't audit yourself and there's no transparency, you don't have what you say you have. Whether it's true or not, alleged or not, I'm just not believing it when it comes to my investment or whatever strategies. I'm just not believing it. So again, when you talk about people being upset because Tether isn't one-to-one allegedly, this is a sophisticated scheme and all that, I don't feel bad for any of these people, even if the market was manipulated, because you were trying to buy that lie. You wanted that lie to fit your narrative of investing, that stable coins work, that Tether worked, that the market wasn't being pumped. So again, whether this is true or not, to me, it doesn't really bother me. If anything, it's just a lot more people in the crypto space learning hard lessons, which will probably push more people away from it in the short term, of course. Again, Tether and Bitfinex suspect this lawsuit. It comes 2 days after both Tether and Bitfinex published statements claiming that they had become aware of an unreleased paper, quote, falsely positing that Tether issuances are responsible for manipulating the cryptocurrency market, unquote, urging that the paper contained baseless accusations. Tether and Bitfinex said they will vigorously defend themselves if lawyers use this source to launch a lawsuit. Exactly. So in order to really launch this lawsuit in court, a public courtroom, they're going to say, all right, we have the information. Now, where did you get it from? Is it a credible source? Whoever it is, this isn't the newspapers. You can just hide your source. This is a court of law, and you're accusing people of manipulating an entire financial market. So, of course, whoever that source is would need to become present and accounted for. And at that time, I assume Tether and Bitfinex will launch a campaign to basically destroy them on a business level, on corporate level, from what I'm seeing. But again, people have already went after them. The Bitfinex, whoever the guy was on Twitter who used to go after them all the time, I know they've had their back and forth. I'm not even sure what was up with that. I know he was trying to sue Bitfinex. Bitfinex was trying to countersue for the baseless claims they said they had. But again, by and large, when it comes to Tether, when it comes to OneCoins, and I'm not even saying they're a scam. I'm just putting them in the same categories as some of the scams because some of the information I received was the same, and that was no information or information that didn't make sense or a lack of transparency. That's everything I get from Tether. That's everything I got from Tether from day one. If you ever missed my Tether story, as soon as I got on Tether, I got off because when I tried to sign up for them, you know, I put in my social security number, I do all this good stuff. I think this is back in 2016 sometime or 2017 early possibly. But I went to sign up. I did everything for Tether, passport, social security, all that. And my account was never approved. I mean, I think it was actually approved after about a year and a half, which I understand. 2017 was crazy. Everyone was down when it came to support and all that good stuff. But not only was my account not approved until about a year and a half, all of my information was stuck on the Tether screen, not from my point of view, not knowing if it was actually processed or not, because for whatever reason, all their systems stopped working. So that means whenever I logged on, I could just see my social security number, I could see my passport, I could see all these documents, but nothing had been going on with Tether and there was no way to delete them. Which means if anyone else could log on to any of their systems, I assume I'm not the only person with that problem, they can see everybody else's social security number and passport. So for me, when that happened, and again, I was just stuck in this loading zone for Tether for almost, again, a year and a half before finally one day I got a random email like, hey, you've been accepted now. Which, by the way, after I got everything cleared and accepted, I still could not buy any Tether because they had stopped the selling of them. Those were all red flags to me. So I said, hey, you know what? They already have my social. They have my passport. That's enough. I'm done with it. I'm going to make sure these bank accounts are canceled connected to it. But at the end of the day, that was my risk I took on. There's no way to mitigate that. So It's the same thing here. If you're seeing the red flag, stop trying to make Tether fit into your narrative. If it doesn't seem right, it probably is not right. And with that, I would say to just leave it alone and keep it moving. What's going on, Mr. Gibson Sr., Dry Desserts, Leroy Forbes, Trek, what's going on, PFC Wells, Crypto and Culture, Tony Nolly, hello, hello, hello. Yes, unsecured, that is a word I am looking for, Shannon. It was a unsecured, I'm not going to say the website was unsecured, but where I entered my information was definitely unsecured. And as I said, every time I log back onto my Tether account, all that information was there to see. It was not in a secure space at all. Anybody could log on and see it. So it definitely scared me away from the Tether project a couple years ago. Class action style legal opportunity. Of course, and that's the other side of it. A lot of these class actions, real or false, could just be another big Wall Street or big lawyer firm on Wall Street saying, hey, legal firm on Wall Street saying, hey, let's go after some of these different cryptocurrency companies. I mean, if you're going after a crypto company as well and you're a legal firm, you probably have a background in financial crimes or financial law in general, which means you probably work with Wall Street, them being in New York. So, hey, why go after JP Morgan still? All right, these guys are hard to crack. They got an expensive legal team. But this Tether and Bitfinex over here, I don't know. They're lawyers. Let's see what we can do with this. So we'll see what happens. In other news, now traders can make bets on when Facebook Libra will launch. That's right. Crypto's future exchange CoinFlex is issuing derivatives linked to the launch of the Facebook-led Libra cryptocurrency project. If you haven't noticed, I want to point something out. Every day, every week, every month, as this Libra project continues, they are trying to separate it from Facebook. If you've noticed that, the Facebook-led Libra cryptocurrency project. Listen, the Libra coin is a Facebook project. Let's not get it twisted, all right? It's not some separate entity that's going to exist on its own framework. No, from Facebook point of view, they're probably trying to separate it for legal reasons, of course. So if something does happen with the Libra project from a regulatory point of view, it doesn't take the entire ship down with it, that being Facebook. So I can see them trying to separate it. And then they're also trying to separate it for their investors. Of course, for those big name investors who might say, hey, the government is going after you guys because of the Libra project. I don't want to be involved. And they're saying, hey, no, your money's safe with Facebook. This is something entirely different. Don't worry. So I'm assuming Facebook is actually trying to separate it. We've been seeing this more in the articles. Same company, though. Let's not forget. But it's dubbed an initial futures offering. There we go. We got a new acronym in crypto today, people. I love it. The IFO, initial futures offering. So we have the STOs now. Security token offerings. We have ICOs, which is what all we really need. Initial crowd offering or initial coin offerings. We have IFOs now, initial futures offering. IEOs, initial exchange offerings. We have CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. I mean, this is crazy. It's only been another year and a half when we had about 5 or 6 new acronyms. I suspect more to come, but the initial future offerings, IFO, dubbed the IFO, the exchange launched similar derivatives products for both the blockchain interoperability project Polkadot and cloud computing network Bitfinity before their mainnets were live, Bloomberg reported on Monday. The Libra IFO, a physically settled product, allows investors to bet if Libra will launch before the settlement date of December 30th, 2020. The futures product will be available October 24th and will pay out in Libra tokens. To me, again, I give it to Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, his marketing team. This sounds like it came right out of Facebook's playbook. He said, hey, get on the phone with some of these exchanges. Let's go ahead and stir this interest up for the Libra coin, the Libra project. What other way to stir up interest in the cryptocurrency community than to actually launch an IFO, right? To have something where you can win some Libra coins. So it looks like Libra's launch date originally slated for early 2020 and now looking like more than toward the end of the year, if not much later, has been pushed back. But again, this is a pretty interesting project to see where you will be physically paid back with Libra coins. And it's one of those things where like two things. First, I'm not sure how this IFO is going to work as far as what do you pay with it for? Do you pay with it in dollars? Do you pay with it in Bitcoin or some other sort of crypto? I'm not sure what you pay for it for or how you pay with it. But again, it's pretty interesting that you're saying that Libra will be your reward. First of all, is it going to launch? What happens if it doesn't launch? People do this whole IFO thing. They go over to CoinFlex. Again, this is a big marketing thing. Looking from my point of view, it's a big marketing scheme. Very smart though. But they pay all this, or they do all this, and then the project might not launch. Then what happens, right? Or on the flip side, it does launch, but even still, like, no one wants Libra. Pay me out in Bitcoin. You know, why would you pay me out in Libra, a centralized digital currency? Again, I kind of get it, but they can pay you out in 1 million Libra. If they decide to print off 1 trillion of them, it won't matter, right? So very interesting. Again, I think it's a good marketing scheme. I wouldn't doubt if somewhere in this article, it probably should say sponsored, where Facebook paid CoinFlex to do something like this or made some sort of deal. It would not surprise me. But again, pretty cool to see. Another way to learn about crypto, or at least the Libra project. And again, it's another base hit. This is going to be called the initial futures offering, getting the IFO. And they'll allow you to physically settle Libra coin once they actually launch, if you can decide or pick the date they launch before December 30th, 2020. So interesting to see. I guess we'll see how this shakes out. What's going on, Jeree Sampson? How do we get our people to adopt crypto / Bitcoin? I mean, if you mean R as in black, I would ask Bitcoin Z. He got the Bitcoin and Black America out. If you mean people in general, I would say I think another financial crisis needs to happen. I think we need to have something in the proportions we had in 2008, where we have our government telling a bunch of, at least in the United States specifically, or even in some of the other first world countries around the world. I think it needs to be another example where the government takes taxpayer money and say we're going to give it to private companies again, for people to say this is not okay. What options do we have? And then start looking at options and really learn about crypto. So we'll see. Dry Dessert said, better call Sal. You already know it. They're treating crypto like drugs. Some are deemed legal and some are not, according to government daddy ahead mommies. It's funny you say. I saw a story today come out where they basically said the SEC came back out and said Bitcoin will not be treated like security. It's like, you didn't need to come out and tell us that, but I guess thank you. I don't know. It's just pretty interesting. All right, here is some news. New York State financial regulator is hiring a crypto and blockchain specialist. What? Listen, this is the last thing they probably want to do, but it is happening. I love how they actually put in this Department of Financial Services tag on someone with a purple suit, because that is crypto. A purple suit and a red tie. If that's not crypto, I don't know what it is. But it looks like New York State's financial regulator is hiring a specialist with expertise in the field of virtual currencies and blockchain, per a recently published announcement. The Department of Financial Services is looking to hire a deputy superintendent. That's right, almost to the top, not all the way, but almost to the top, the number 2 in the Research and Innovation Division, with a background in cryptocurrencies, blockchain, distributed ledger technology, and other fields. Again, it's what we talk about with some of these other job openings in the government. When they talk about crypto, they literally have no clue what they're talking about or who to hire. So they just put a bunch of buzzwords into one, into what they're looking for. And you kind of see that here. We just need you to have a background in cryptocurrencies, blockchain, distributed ledger technology, which is actually blockchain, just reworded as another buzzword for Wall Street, and other related fields that we're not going to tell you, even though this is a space, an industry, when you're talking about cryptocurrency or cryptography for that matter, or anything to do with any type of computer coding or IT or networking background. These are all technical fields. So what I mean by technical fields is, this isn't one of those things you can say, hey, yeah, make me a salad, throw some lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, whatever else, what goes in the salad, throw it in there. It doesn't work like that. These are things you have to actually technically know, and there's big differences between each and every one of them, which means each one is basically like their own career. We talked about that before. So if you want someone with a background in cryptocurrencies, what do you mean? A background in actual trading, a background investing and developing, or blockchain, same thing. Someone who's used it, who's familiar with it, who knows how to speak to it, or someone who, I'm assuming research and innovation, actually knows how to create a blockchain. Again, 2 totally different fields. And again, when they say other related fields, I have no clue what they're talking about. Are you talking about other related fields as someone who's familiar with SegWit, someone who's familiar with Lightning payments, someone who's familiar with different nodes, different programs, the regulations, the policy, calls for a lot. Again, I'm going to keep it all technical because they say research and innovation. But with that being said, what they're putting out needs to be a lot more specific. The person in this position is set to be in charge of policy decisions, as I just kind of alluded to, and the regulation of emerging and innovative markets. So with that last sentence, I would just go ahead and assume they just want a person to have knowledge about all this stuff, not the actual technical expertise. So we'll see. The individual will also be responsible for directing the development of enforcement procedures, policies, and communication strategies in the field, maintaining engagement with industry players, and the development of initiatives and compliance measures. I mean, hell, if I didn't have nothing to do today, I might actually apply for this because what they're looking for, again, we talked about this and other things. This article even mentions it. The other federal agencies, we talk about the Department of Commerce, who are looking to hire computer scientists. We talk about NASA doing it. And then, of course, we talk about the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, who is hiring someone for an expert on cryptocurrency. And that was the one that I joked about months ago, where they literally just like laid out everything. They were just like, hey, if you could be a cryptocurrency specialist as well as an astronaut and know how to fly and can go invisible, boy, do we have a job for you, because that's what it looked like. They basically wanted you to know how to do everything when it came to IT, which was one of those things, as I just mentioned, it isn't technically sound. And again, we talk about the prices of these jobs. I told you already, when these job hires start to happen, they will not be at the same salary level as we're accustomed to seeing in government. You literally cannot. The competition is way too strong in the private sector. And you even see it here. We never found out a price point for that job. I had said when it came out, it would have to be almost 350K. It looks like the job application of the SEC, as you can see here, said they will pay up to $239,000 per year for its crypto specialist. People, do you know how much money that is for a role in the government, much less the SEC as a regular? You're a specialist. This isn't up here the deputy the deputy superintendent. This is just a specialist getting paid $239,000. The president's only making what, $440,000. While I was deployed with admirals, they were only making what, 150, 175K on a high end. And these are admirals. I'm talking about admirals and generals out there, right? So you're talking about a specialist who had, I mean, this is the SEC one. I mean, you could literally be an 18-year-old, 17-year-old coming off the street, but been in crypto the last 6 years and know everything we were talking about and get this. So cool to see. And then, of course, the new one here from the Department of Financial Services. It's a deputy superintendent spot, however, which means, you're really going to be working for the man. You're going to be doing all the heavy lifting while the superintendent just signs off and looks like a genius and gets promoted. Then eventually you'll have the superintendent spot or you'll transfer somewhere else. That's just the way government works. It's all good. But with that being said, as a deputy superintendent for something like this, the pay scale is going to be tricky. I'm going to tell you why. Whoever the superintendent is right now, while they're probably getting paid a lot of money, they're not getting paid at the same level of the crypto market. And that's because this is brand new. They never had to. So if they want to hire someone to do all this, who's basically going to do all the heavy lifting for the superintendent, I dare say the deputy superintendent, whoever they hire, is probably going to get paid just as much, if not more, than the actual superintendent of the Department of Financial Services and the Research and Innovation Division. And I mean, I'm telling you, it's more than likely going to be like that. The problem with this, though, is going to be when your underling is getting paid just as much or not more as you, right? And probably going to know a lot more about it than you. Again, government isn't slick. If they know, if I know the government how I know it, they might actually just push out the superintendent after a while. Doesn't mean he's going to get fired or she's going to get fired, give him another position somewhere else, and give the deputy the job in the next year or two. But you can pretty much guarantee this position, if they wanted it to be done correctly, I mean, you just saw it, $239,000 for a specialist. Hey, $250K minimum, because if you can, unless you find someone out there who knows how to do this, who's okay with working at a reduced rate for the government, only because they're going to get their security clearance. You have a secret clearance, top secret, depending on what you're going to do. And of course, after this job, whether you go to superintendent or if you decide to leave, everyone on Wall Street is going to hire you right back up and you'll get that money you saw out there. But this is going to be a position you definitely want to pay attention to because it's in charge of the Research and Innovation Division. And again, they're talking about policy, initiatives, development, and all that good stuff. So basically what their job is, I'm assuming, is to go out into the crypto industry, go out to these conferences, meet everybody, hire the best people you can find to work for you, and steal all the best ideas you can steal, because we're the government, can't nobody do anything about it. Like, that is what this position is going to be about. Go hire the right people, go find the right ideas, bring it back to the government so we can figure all this out in our research and innovation division. And again, the last thing left to be seen will be the pay. Here is the actual thing from New York State, the actual announcement of intention to fill job vacancy. Again, this is in New York, New York. Management confidential is a negotiation unit. Again, research and innovation, salary commensurate with experience. As I said, they can't even write it down, people. This is a government job. You can't have a government job of something like this, of something obscure as this, the research and innovation decision. All of a sudden, the deputies coming in making 250, 300K. Again, the president's only making 440K or something. And we have deployed military leaders who aren't even making 200K, people. Like, you have to understand, from a government point of view, this is a lot of money. They won't even mention it, right? And this is a government thing. This isn't a private company where they can say, we can't tell you the salary. Great, again, whoever was the PR person behind who wrote this up, great wording, salary commensurate with experience. This is a public government job. We're supposed to know how much the salary is. Go to jobs.gov or wherever the website is for all the government jobs. They have a salary range for almost every job up there because it's a public job that's being paid with our tax money. We're allowed to know this stuff, which of course is not here. Again, they talk about the appointment status. This is an appointment to a position in the exempt jurisdictional class. So really, if you're interested in this job, all you have to do is please probably two people, with the superintendent and whoever their boss is, to give you the nod, and two people can just give you the job. Nothing more, nothing less. Of course, look, key word here. This is my first time looking at this with you all, two people. I pulled it up. I did not read it. Appointment to this position is pending division of budget approval to fill. I repeat, appointment to this position is pending division of budget approval to fill. Hey, hate to say I know what I'm talking about, but when it comes to this, I know what I'm talking about. They are trying to fill a position that is going to be very hard to fill. With that being said, if you're a crypto warrior listening and you think you know enough about cryptocurrency, apply for it. Go out for it. They don't know what they're looking for, and they don't know how much you should be getting paid. They have an idea, and that's above the number I just told you. It's above 250K for this position. Do not get it wrong. But they're not trying to pay that. It's going to be a bad look if the government starts giving out $300,000 jobs left and right for every kid on the block who knows crypto. Bad look. Again, they're talking about the duties. Some of this position will include, not limited to, directing the development of key initiatives. Yep, you're the deputy superintendent. You're going to be directing everything. Measures concerning virtual currency, activities, markets, participants, underlying technologies, consultations with other divisions, as well as general counsel, providing guidance to the staff responsible for reviewing and processing applications for licensure, examinations of virtual currency firms, coordinating with other state and federal regulators, directing the development of enforcement procedures relating. So you basically are about to become the crypto czar. That's what this looks like. This is the crypto czar position. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. Maintaining engagement with industry and other ecosystem stakeholders to facilitate two-way communication between DFS and industry. Qualifications. Here's an important thing. Formal qualifications are not filed for this position. However, the following will be considered. Let me go back to this for all the parents back there who keep beating their kid over the head with the fact that they have to go to school to learn. Formal qualifications are not filed for this position. That means if you don't have a degree or something, that's fine. Do you know about cryptocurrency? Yes or no? Knowledge and experience related to the department's virtual currency regulations, compliance, legal, or other relevant experience on matters related to virtual currencies, blockchain, distributed ledger technology, experience in financial markets, including but not limited to trading, banking, capital markets, and regulatory compliance, experience in the operation, management, risk management, compliance, audit, or internal control of business activities, included but not limited to virtual currencies and or currency stored and transferred electronically. Preferred degree is a JD or MBA. Again, why would you want somebody with a JD? That has the MBA I kind of get, but even then not really. A JD, the Juris Doctorate. They're not about to go to law school. So I get what they're doing here. They're saying, hey, if you're a lawyer who knows about cryptocurrency, we'll say you don't need a JD. I don't even know why they put that there. That's not intelligent. And then of course it shows you where you can go to. I might actually file for this. I already get like 2 points for being in the military, and then another point for some that disability point. That's 2 points right there. They got to at least look at my application and tell me no to my face. That's how the government works, people. Gang, gang. But again, something you should look at. It'll be very interesting. I can already tell you who they're kind of looking for. They want someone already on Wall Street who has quit working at whatever firm they have in the last 2 or 3 years spent in crypto. That's who they want to take this job, but we'll see who actually takes it. Let's see, get some comments. I know we got some great comments coming in from this, and the comment thing still isn't working for some reason, so I'll just read them off. Let's see, hold on. Dry Dessert said, read this theory. Zuckerberg started Libra with the expectation that it will be denied intention, making it impossible for Bezos to roll out the cryptocurrency that he was/has been working on. Because Libra was supposed to make governments, to make it illegal for companies to launch their own cryptocurrencies. Again, it's a theory, but it sounds like some of these guys will do. I wouldn't doubt it. I think that's a very good theory, Dry Dessert. Again, if you didn't hear me, he said Zuckerberg only started Libra so Amazon wouldn't, and then all cryptos could basically be eliminated. I think that's a solid theory. Again, when we're talking about multi-billion-dollar companies, there is nothing like, oh, this is conspiracy. No, it's not. It's good. It's proper planning. It's proper marketing usually, and it's proper execution. So I wouldn't push it past them. If I was going head to head with Oracle and Amazon and Facebook and Google and Twitter and all these YouTubes, or I guess they're Google now. If I was going head to head with all these companies as another businessman, especially at the end of the day, the worst thing these guys can lose is money. All right, they're not losing their lives, and it's not a dangerous thing. I mean, the worst they can lose is money or their company, right? So yeah, I would be making these same type of multi-billion-dollar moves where we say, hey, oh, what is this? Bezos wants to create his own crypto? Launch one. Just launch it and see what. Launch it and hope it gets denied so nobody else can do it, right? I think that's a pretty good theory as well. What's going on, P-Man Van? PFC Will says there's going to be a ton of meetings talking about nothing now and how to block people out of this space. That is basically what's going to go on here. Again, this is the new crypto czar. I am reading this as I said it today, October 7th, Monday, October 7th. The deputy superintendent of the Department of Financial Services in New York will become the new crypto czar. You watch. Dexter Hans Sr., what's going on? Dry Dessert said, is that vice crypto czar or senior crypto czar? Which one, right? Politicians owned by the corporations, but I guess they will only go so far. Hey, again, if you know anybody who's qualified for this, which basically if you watched our show since we started, you pretty much should be, go ahead and apply and see what happens. All right. Last but not least, NBA Sacramento Kings to reward loyal fans with crypto tokens. You see here the photo of the Golden One Center. Bitcoin Zay and I were just there last week when we were in Sacramento, or was it 2 weeks ago? In Sacramento, we saw Vlade Divac. We got a chance to see Luke Walton and Peja Stojakovic. The first 30 minutes we were in Sacramento eating outside the Golden One Center. And after that, we were told, you've seen everything Sacramento has to show you. You can go home now. And it turned out to be true. The NBA Sacramento Kings are the first U.S. professional sports team to develop a crypto token for fan rewards. Fans can get those points and put them in their wallets and experience it all on the blockchain platform. Kings CTO Ryan Montoya told CoinDesk. Further, Montoya said the token called Kings Token will pair with a predictive gaming platform the team has developed in anticipation of the legalization of sports betting in California. The Kings Token is a joint effort with blockchain-based event ticketing platform Block Party. They said, in our opinion, the blockchain has a role in the entire event experience. Block Party's chief development officer, Vladislav Ginsburg, told CoinDesk whether it's for a sports game, music festivals, or Broadway shows. Again, you can read more in this article, but it's basically talking about how in 2014, the Kings became the first NBA team to accept Bitcoin, and how Kings tokens will also exist in a token wallet added to the Golden One Center app. So now you have the entire basketball arena with its own crypto wallet app and its own crypto coin. It goes back to what we said from the beginning, Andreas Antonopoulos. Anything that can be tokenized will be. I believe every sports team will attempt to at least do this before the proliferation of it gets so crazy where people are like, all right, this really doesn't make sense. But it looks like fans can earn rewards through predictive gaming platform and redeem those points for access to unique events, signed merchandise, or courtside tickets. For example, the ERC20 token will run on Ethereum, but will only initially be usable within the team's Golden One Center arena. While fans won't be able to trade the token for another currency or have a private key, They will be able to show a QR code to redeem points and see the confirmation of transactions through a block explorer. And testnet now, the Kings plan to launch the token by opening night on October 25th. All right, many things. First of all, at the end of the day, hand clap to the Kings. This is a base hit, people. In fact, it might be a double. We're back to second base on this hit. It's a great base hit. Now, of course, the reality of it, it's a centralized token. It's not really a cryptocurrency, is it? But it's doing what we told everybody. They're using their own blockchain is what they're really trying to do. That is what every company out there, the JPM coin, JP Morgan coin, their blockchain, Libra project and their blockchain. It's all about blockchains. We talk about this internet versus intranet. We have our own intranet. You guys can surf on our website. It's like, but I want to use the public internet and use Google to search the world, or at least the top 4% of the world. Like, why can't I do that? So this is the basic, because at the end of the day, while people won't actually have any cryptocurrency or be able to walk around and use it and trade it as they say, they'll be able to learn about it in a controlled environment. They can go into the go-to-one center. I'm assuming like Disney World or Disneyland, there'll be a place to exchange your money for some Mickey coins, right? In this case, for some, what are they calling it, Kings tokens or whatever. I'm assuming there'll be a place to do this. You probably can go on your phone app, connect it to your bank, buy some of them, whatever, and use it, as they said, to buy beer or whatever. It won't be long before, depending on how the project goes, the next 1 to 3 years, they say, hey, all you can use is our King token from now on. You can't even use regular money. I wouldn't be surprised, again, because another big positive of that from a business point of view is once people buy it, they have to leave their money in it, because they already said they're not trading for any cryptocurrency. So if you buy $100 worth of King's tokens and you only use 50 of it, well, then you should probably come back for another game before the end of this year if you want to spend the rest of them. They just don't go to waste, which, by the way, the company will probably end up keeping. Again, this is just regular business as usual. So again, they won't have their private key. They won't be able to trade. They won't be able to do a lot, but they'll learn about crypto. They'll learn how to buy it in a wallet. They'll learn how to use a wallet. They'll learn how to use a QR code and check the wallet. They'll learn everything about crypto. So at the very least, when they leave that game and they understand the seamlessness of cryptocurrency, they can say, is this all Bitcoin is? Is this all the talk has been about? It's just an easier way of moving money anywhere in the world at any time. Maybe I should try it. So I think it's a pretty cool base hit. Pretty cool for Sacramento Kings. Again, I'm not even hating on them. I think every team out there is going to do it. Every business that can do it is probably going to try it, because it is a good business plan, at least in the short term. So we'll see what happens with it, right? Jamel Hook, what's going on? Is it possible to trade crypto for a living? It is possible to trade crypto for a living. However, you know, I would say you definitely want to be able to trade an amount you can live on, if that makes sense. It's one of those things where when there's not a lot of chop, which like today, yesterday, this whole weekend to now, there was some volatility. I'm not gonna say no volatility, but the swings weren't as high. Or maybe let's talk about last year in the bear market, where there was almost no volatility. It was just going down and it stayed down for a long time. It's difficult to trade during those times, but yeah, when Bitcoin is going from 8,000 to 12,000, 7,000, 6,000 all within a matter of a few weeks, those are prime times to trade. Whenever there's volatility, is good for trading. But again, my best bet to you, when I used to trade Bitcoin a lot daily, I just had daily goals. When I first started, I said, hey, if I can make $200 a day off trading Bitcoin, I can figure this thing out. And then eventually that number went higher and higher, right? So that's how I did my strategy. And of course, once you reach different benchmarks, you want to pull money out. So my whole thing behind it is just to have a strategy. Don't just trade day to day saying, hey, I'm just trading for a living. I'm pulling some out, I'm pulling some in. Have an actual strategy. How much are you going to keep in your fiat currency? How much are you going to trade on margin? How much are you going to allocate to different coins? How many different coins you're going to have? How much you hope to earn every day? Again, that is a very important part of it, because you're talking about trading. Yeah, some of this is, it's very speculative. It's like going to the casino. So you don't want to trade half of the day, get a good amount of money, make $1,000, a couple $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, and then say, I'm going to keep it in there for more opportunities. And the next day you're right back down to where you started, or maybe even $1,000 less, right? So just make sure you have those benchmarks and all that good stuff. But it's definitely possible to trade crypto and live off it on a daily basis as well. And last but not least, the last article I say I bring it up. I know I am tight for time right now. Well, I'll just give it an honorable mention. And that is John McAfee's decentralized exchange has hit its beta today. I saw that article come out. I didn't want to cover it until I at least heard about how the beta was being launched, because John McAfee, as much as we love him, we know he will pump and dump something in a heartbeat if the price is right. So we'll look more into that, and maybe we'll cover it into some detail tomorrow. Other than that, that's the show for today. As always, thanks for watching. You all have a great day. Cheers.